Hello and welcome to Frontline Conversations. The most important political event in India that is coming up will be the assembly elections, which are going to be held in 5 states soon in April. It assumes exceptional significance because among the 5 states, 3 states are ruled by 3 key opposition parties of the country: West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Now, the other 2 are led by either BJP or an NDA constituent. They are Assam and Puducherry. Now, we are going to discuss Kerala elections in this conversation. If the CPIM led LDF, this is going to be very crucial, not just for the LDF, but the entire left movement in India, because Kerala happens to be the only state where the left is in power now. This is also, if after losing West Bengal and Tripura a few years ago. So if the LDF or the left is going to lose this election, as it is perceived by many observers that there is going to be a huge anti-incumbency sentiment in the state, if the LDF is going to lose this election, left will be nowhere in the national picture in terms of parliamentary or in terms of governance in any particular state. So to discuss all this, we have today Dr. John Brittas, parliament member, and he's CPIM's deputy parliamentary leader in the Rajya Sabha and one of the most prominent members in the parliament now. John Brittas has been with the party's, the CPIM's media world for a long time. He started his career as a journalist with the party mouthpiece in Kerala, Deshabhimani, and he worked in Delhi for a long time. And about 20 years ago, he joined the CPIM-backed television channel in Kerala, Kairali, where he is now the managing director as well as the chief editor. So it has been quite a long journey for John Brittas, passing through 2 different realms, that is media for a long time, and now recently he has joined active parliamentary politics as a Rajya Sabha member. Brittas, welcome to this program. And, we have known you as a top journalist for a long time. Now, let me ask the first question. How does it feel? Because you have been in television, for a long time. And now for the last, for some time, now you have been seen on almost all television channels. How does it feel to be on the other side of the camera now?
Thank you, Radhakrishnan, for the very positive and long introduction about me. Now it's a world altogether different, from journalism to active politics. Though these are 2 sides of the same coin, but since I always say that media has transformed itself to be modial, I'm talking about the mainstream media, at least when I look from Delhi. So no longer I claim that I'm a journalist now because of the transformation that has happened to the media ecosystem as such. Now, I do agree with you. The elections which are coming on the anvil are very crucial on a macro level, crucial for the nation. Because as I see it, for the unity of this nation, there are 2 major inputs or other verticals. First is federalism, democracy, and secularism. If you take these 3 verticals, I think these elections will be very crucial for this country. And the results in Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Kerala would have far-reaching impact, not only for the opposition parties, for the left as such. And for the first time since 70 years or 75 years, left, whether we can retain power in one state, that is a question. And you talk in terms of the perceived impression that there is a fatigue or anti-incumbency in Kerala. That is also one aspect which we need to cross over. But I feel that the importance of these elections, I do underscore your point that it is crucial not only for the federal parties, I mean the opposition parties, also for the left. And the peculiar election scenario in Kerala is that two India Alliance parties are fighting. One is Congress and the left parties. I feel that apart from the perception, the ground realities will be helpful to us. That is a positive aspect which I feel that at the end of the day, the people of Kerala will find that the presence of the left in national politics is a prerequisite to make sure that India functions, at least with a semblance of constitutional prudence. And the fight that the left has been undertaking to protect the secularism, protect democracy, protect federalism will go down well with the people. And I do feel that we will get a positive mandate for the third time.
Well, Brittas, why this anti-incumbency question arises is because the recurring defeats that the left had in the last few years. That is also very interesting because the left came back to power in 2021 in an unprecedented which was an unprecedented event in the history of Kerala politics, because the left has never been voted back to power for a second term in government consecutively. So that was something which was so different in 2021. And also because in the last 20 years, as you know, the left had a very poor parliamentary performance in the country. If you take the Bengal and Tripura, and also the parliamentary presence of the left has come down to extremely low levels. So, but at the same time, what you see in Kerala was a picture completely in contrast to what happened elsewhere in the country, because the last 20 years Kerala has seen a parliamentary hegemony for the left, right from 2000, not just from 2016 to 21 and 21 to 26, but even before, even the election before that also, where the UDF, the Congress-led UDF won, was they won with a slender majority, about 4 seats. So if you take the entire trend of the last 20 years, what you see elsewhere in the country is the left going down, but in Kerala, left has been pretty strong in its political presence. This is not just in contrast to what the left happened, because you see, if you compare, the BJP's huge Juggernaut kind of surge in India, this is also a different picture. But what you see right now after 2021 is that election after election, the left has gone down. If you take the parliamentary election of 2024 or the by-elections which happened before that, or 2025, even far more important is that the LSG government, the local self-government elections, also left made a pretty poor show. So all these are being taken into consideration when people come to the conclusion that there is a huge anti-incumbency wave. What is your take about this left setbacks in recent years?
Dadarsh, I do agree that the huge dropping, the setbacks which left got, particularly in the local body elections and the last Lok Sabha elections, indicate that people are switching their loyalty from the LDF to UDF. But let me also remind you that one election never used to be like the next election. 2019, as you know that, we had a complete rout in Kerala during the Lok Sabha elections. 19 seats out of 20 was won by UDF. Subsequently, in assembly elections, left had one spectacular victory.
Yeah.
Now, even 24 Lok Sabha elections, we had a dropping. And of course, the local body elections, we also got a setback. But I feel that in the coming assembly elections, even the analysis done by our adversaries indicate that despite the fact there is a fatigue, there is no anti-incumbency as such on the ground. There could be certain layers of anti-incumbency. I do agree that. But if you look at the constituency level, say, is there an anti-incumbency against one MLA? Because 99 MLAs belong to left parties. Most of the MLAs in their constituencies at the ground level are very popular and have good contact with the people. And two verticals on which we want to ensure that our election campaign is being done. One is the growth that Kerala has achieved, the economic growth. Second is the welfare politics, which we had undertaken, which is so distinct that people like Farooq Abdullah or Manish Shankaraya, who are not very sympathetic to left compared to their association with the Congress, they have been underlining the fact that Kerala, despite many, I would say, negatives or situations which were not very suitable to us, we have performed in a way which is much more stellar than the other competitors, say the neighboring states like Karnataka or other states like that. So I feel that the people of Kerala would see through that. So these are the positive aspects. I do agree that there has been always a seesaw game in Kerala politics. You give one term to UDF and another term to LDF. But that was broken last time, as you rightly said. In effect, it was broken earlier also. See, the UDF got a slender majority of hardly two seats when Ummanjati became the chief minister. Actually, that so-called seesaw game was broken at that time. If there was a fire maneuvering or a navigation, the left would have won that. So we have such experiences before that, and we are confident that with the performance this left government has done. And if you look around, nobody can say, even those people say that let there be a change of government. If you ask them, what is the reason you want to have a change of government? Right. They are not in a position to explain what are the reasons for a change of government. So we hope that in the coming couple of months, we would be in a position to remove this layer of fatigue, if at all, that must have gone down on a section of people, and would explain to them the importance of left having a victory in Kerala, because it's not merely for Kerala alone, it's for the nation. I always felt that the presence of the left may be in Kerala, but our ideology, the importance of our movings transcend the physical boundary of Kerala. So the importance of having left in Kerala is not only in the context of Kerala politics, but in the context of even global politics, because Kerala is an alternative. Right. At the national level, to protect the constitutional ideals, the importance of Kerala is very much there.
Right. Brittas, since you brought up that seesaw politics of Kerala, you're absolutely right, because Kerala has been known for this seesaw politics, switching between, and which has been seen as a healthy democratic kind of attitude of the people of Kerala. But at the same time, what I mentioned earlier, the last 20 years have seen a break in that particular trend, because the left has been sort of, going up almost on a steady fashion for the last 20 years, except for that small freak election defeat of 2011. But what you see, and what you said about the development, efforts of the government also is right, because the government, has performed quite impressively, given the kind of constraints that it faced, because it had been, Kerala has been rocked by some of the most unprecedented natural disasters, which has taken a huge economic toll of the state. The last from 28 onwards, you had the Oki, you had the floods of 28, 29, and you had COVID and Nipah and all those things. So this has never been there in the history of Kerala. So in spite of that, Kerala has managed pretty well in terms of economic administration and all those things. But at the same time, so that is why this last 4-5 electoral defeats look a bit mysterious, because in spite of all these achievements in terms of development and governance, there is some reason why the left is losing continuously in the last. Have you made any kind of exploration into what actually has made Kerala to turn away from the left in the recent elections?
I do have an answer to that. It may not be that convincing to many, but it's my own assessment. For example, why left get a dropping or lose out on the Lok Sabha front? It's very simple. See, earlier we used to have the support of the West Bengal and Tripura. Now, Kerala alone, say, even if you win 20 out of 20, it may not make much of difference in the national politics, in Delhi politics. So the realization that is there, see, even left winning the Lok Sabha seats may not make a difference. It's always better to support the Congress for the Lok Sabha. And I won't fault the people. And further, the role of the left in Delhi. See, are you intending to be a partner in the administration? Are you going to take up the responsibility of governance? All these questions are being asked by the people. So there is a reason why people take a position. Why to elect left MPs rather than the Congress MPs? Because Congress, whether you like it or not, it's an alternative for BJP, at least in Delhi. So there is an answer which could be seen as a very linear or a very plain answer to it, but it's very relevant because I am one person who is looking at Kerala politics from Delhi. Many a time, many of my sympathizers, many of my comrades ask me, what is use of electing a left MP to Lok Sabha? Because though the Congress MPs are not that effective in the sense, I mean, their performance in
Lok Sabha elections, absolutely right. What about LSG and the by-elections?
No, by-elections, see, there are, I mean, we had a sitting seat that is in Chelakara, which we won, despite many adversaries. Nilambur was never our seat. Radhakrishnan, you know the minor aspects. It always used to be a Congress. And we won that seat, pitching an independent there, was a former congressman. Now he turns out to be another congressman now. He has rejoined the UDF. So if you look at the layers of these by-elections, wherever we have been strong, we retain that base.
Right.
So just losing 1 or 2 seats in by-elections, you shouldn't conclude that. And coming to the local bodies, you have a valid point. See, many of the local bodies where we lost, I can tell you, we were ruling for 30 years, 35 years, 40 years. There was an anti-incumbency for a local body there. I was taking a couple of panchayats in Palka, which Radhakrishnan, you must be familiar of that. We have been ruling those places or rather governing those panchayats for so many decades. So there could have been a anti-incumbency corrupting. So this is a fact. So I don't think that, see, just losing out on the local body friends, we are not in a position to match the UDF at assembly level. Now, see, we want to remind the people about the cohesive inverted comma nature of the UDF, how it is going to take the Kerala to the next level. We want to remind the people what was the mayhem when it was played out before 10 years. See, the stark, dark pictures that are emanating now on the social media is a reminiscence of the so-called governance which was there in Kerala 10 years back. Now, whether you like it or not, if you travel from the north of Kerala, from Kasaragod to Trivandrum, you can see a vast chunk of development that's happening. And you won't even recognize the place where it used to be, say, 2 years back or 3 years back. I went to my home district in Kannur. I couldn't even recognize certain places because the national highway expansion has completely upended those the pictures and images which you had in your mind. I was doing a calculation, rough calculation, with the help of a very senior functionary at Delhi. He was saying that one state where there would have been investment to the tune of 3.5 lakh crore, 3.5 lakh crore in basic infrastructure would be Kerala. Last 5 years, if you take out, say, National Highway and other infrastructure projects, 3.5 lakh crore. So, conservative estimate, it should be 6. We need to, multiply with 6. So, something like, what is that? 20 lakh crore ka impact has happened on the ground level. This is something which the people of this Kerala can guess. And see, people say it's maybe a PR stunt, but just obliterating a stream poverty, going to the welfare level, this is something a model to the whole nation. And the indices which I harp on are not the indicators which I have brought in. These are all indices which are appreciated or approved by the national government or international multilateral organization. So where is that where we are fudged? So when certain personalities say that it's always better to have a say shift in the power.
Right. We'll come to that later. I mean, let me ask you another major, new development that has come about in Kerala politics, which is the gradual, vanishing of the bipolar political system that has been in sway in Kerala ever since the state was born in 1956. Kerala has been either with the left or with the Congress. But now what you see is the emergence of BJP as a major challenger. Which has never happened before, but the last 20 years, gradually or even, even in a greater measure, increasing their clout and political relevance and political, presence in Kerala. So this has actually, turned Kerala into a tripolar political system to a large extent, though the BJP is still has not made any parliamentary victories than the one in Trishur or the assembly in Nemam. But the vote percentage has gone from about 5% to nearly 20% in the last 24 election. Of course, 25, so that they're coming down again in the LSG election by 5% to 15%. But at the same time, it is no more seen as a inaccessible place for the BJP in Kerala. This election also might throw up a couple of surprises. Because the last LSG election and the Lok Sabha election, they have come top in at least 9 to 10 parliamentary, assembly seats. Now, another theory that I have is that the last 20 years, the left dominance that I talked about was mainly because the emergence of BJP as a third player, as a third important player, which has actually divided the anti-left votes in the last 20 years, because from 5%, it has gone up to 20%. But the problem is that once, it was about 15%, it actually helped it actually damaged the UDF because, it encroached into UDF votes. But from 15%, when it goes to 20%, now even the left, the CPIM has made studies which is showing that even the left is being hit by the BJP's emergence or the BJP's surge, because the Hindu votes, which have been mainstay of the left, has seen some kind of erosion in the last elections. The Idava community, which was the backbone of the left ever since, the state was born, seems to be moving towards, at least a large section is moving towards the BJP. So from 15%, when it goes to 20%, the left is also losing out. So the dominance, which was mainly because of the kind of BJP's emergence, which split the anti-left votes, which was when the left was a beneficiary at that time. But now it seems like UDF is being the beneficiary of the BJP's growth from 15% to 20%. Do you subscribe? Do you agree to this analysis?
No, I used to rely on the statistics that up to 15% BJP bagging may be helpful to left, and beyond the 15% threshold, it would be detrimental to the left. This was one theory which was floated. And as Radhakrishnan rightly said, you and me must have bought over those theories. But I don't think that theory remains to be valid nowadays, because local body elections, the BJP NDA had only 15, but it was a drubbing for the left. So that theory has fallen flat on the nose now. So I don't feel that. See, where BJP gets on, that is much more important. That is much more contextually relevant.
But the BJP has gone into pro-left, sections now, isn't it right?
I do agree. But just think about the Nair community, which used to be with the Congress. It has gone completely drifted away from them. So, no. What I'm trying to say is that just pitching 15%, and after 15%, it could be something bad for the left. I don't think that theory stands now, because in local body elections, BJP had come down from 19 to 15. It didn't help the left in any way. Anyway, I do agree, Radhakrishnan. Now, your point is very valid. See, it's not bipolar anymore. it's a tripolar situation. I do agree. At least in 30 to 40 constituencies, it is tripolar. But let us take the other angle. See, in Delhi, many people have asked me, most of the so-called intellectuals have asked me, why is it Kerala insulated from BJP so far? Why is it that Kerala is standing intact, not falling to the BJP's offensive? So, from one angle, sitting in Trivandrum, somebody may ask, look, BJP is creeping into. But somebody who is sitting elsewhere will ask you, it's a surprise that BJP couldn't conquer Kerala yet. See, there are two angles. See, nowadays, there is something called 4Ms which are on play. When I talk in terms of 4M means for elections, money power, muscle power, media power, and of course the management. Management means institutional support like governors, election commission. These 4Ms are very important in electoracy. Radhakrishnan, you should believe me when I say so. On this 4M, if you take it as parameters, BJP is ahead of UDF and LDF miles.
Is that absolutely
Miles. Despite that, we have been successful in keeping BJP away. That is very, very important. And please take Tamil Nadu, for example. Even Tamil Nadu, BJP alone could garner something like 13-14% awards. They even won elections there. Even the present vice president was elected from Coimbatore as a member of parliament. So, despite the national trend, Kerala has been by and large successful in preventing BJP to have a crucial say in the Kerala politics. But having said that, I can very well vouch for the fact that the importance of BJP in these coming elections shouldn't be discarded or dismissed at all. But how it is going to affect? My simple analysis is that BJP's fight could be, inverted comma, meaningful for them, maybe in, say, 8 to 10 constituencies, not more. And their winnability, even according to the BJP's ardent supporters, is not more than 3 or 4 constituencies.
Right.
This is how it is. I don't know. Do you agree with me, Radhakrishnan?
Yeah, to some extent, but you never know because the kind of
You never know. You never
yeah,
know. You never know.
because what you saw in LSG, I mean, Lok Sabha elections were it went up to 20%, and just 1 year after, the Christian votes, which appear to have moved to the saffron camp, has come back to the UDF. So that is another major development or major issue that I want to talk to you, that the consolidation of minorities behind the UDF, which is apparently very, very conspicuous across the state, the Muslim consolidation and also Christians also, because the left, which left has been trying to make inroads into this minority communities for a long time. And the last 15 years, it has made some major successes, especially, getting the Muslim, sections, to come towards the left in the last few elections. But what you see in the last 2-3 elections or the last 2-3 years is that there is a complete consolidation, right from Muslim League to Jamaat Islami or SDPI or whichever parties of all kinds of Muslim organizations have rallied behind the Congress. Especially what you have seen in Lok Sabha elections is understandable because you think Congress is the major bulwark against the BJP. So that is okay. But after that, what you see is a very conspicuous kind of consolidation behind the UDF by the minorities on the one side. The other side, maybe because the kind of Hindu sections which have voted for the left for a long time has gravitated towards the BJP. And that is the reason why the left is accused of being, implementing certain soft Hindu lines, like because you have extreme cordial relations with the SNDP leader, Vellapalli Nadeshan, who is seen as an anti-Muslim character in Kerala, and also the holding of Ayyappa Sangamam, the Ayyappa meet and all. And even the left has been, coming close to the NSS, the Nayar Service Society, the upper caste Hindus, which has always been anti-left for a long time. But so this is seen as a new social engineering that is happening in Kerala. The minorities consolidating behind the UDF, the Hindus largely gravitating towards the BJP, and caught in between, the left seems to be in a quite unenviable position and trying to make inroads into the sections of the Hindu sections, seeing that there is an erosion. So this is a new kind of, I don't want to call it a narrative, but a very conspicuous sort of spectacle in Kerala. What is your take on this?
Radhakrishnan,
Consolidation of minorities, one, two, the soft Hindu line of the left.
I am very glad that you place the present mainstream media narrative in a very beautiful way, in a imbecile. But let me just tell you, see, when you perceive that there is a consolidation of minorities behind Congress, when you really thought about it, just take the example of Trivandrum Corporation. Trivandrum Corporation, that is one corporation which is being celebrated across the nation. Even the trails have stopped here and there so that the celebration continues. But what is the real picture there? Both UDF and BJP lost substantial chunk of their vote, which they garnered during the last election. Since you are sitting in Trivandrum, it's a very easy example so that people understand. Whereas left increased its vote share by 50,000. So if at all there was a consolidation of the left and consolidation of the Hindu votes towards BJP, this wouldn't have happened. I do agree that there is some sort of a consolidation in certain pockets. For example, Malappuram, it happened there. But when it comes, when it comes to the assembly elections, I feel that even the minorities, even the majority communities, they will look at the performance of this government and also the ability, capability, and efficiency of the MLA, the representative there. And I have been traveling across Kerala, especially in northern Kerala. I feel that we do have so much of support from the minority community. And see, what is there as an alternative for the left? That is much more important. Even for the minority community, I feel that this security, safety, which they enjoy in Kerala, is precisely because of the presence of the left. You look at Tamil Nadu, you look at Karnataka, you look at any other state where Congress is an alternative, either the ruling party or the principal opposition party. What is the plight of the minorities? So these minority communities can see through this game. I'm sure about it. It's not that just because there is a media narrative saying that, see, there is a soft Hindutva that is being played out. I don't understand really. See, as a member of parliament, I always feel that the representatives of the UDF have never ever spoken out in support of the minorities. Anywhere, anytime. You look at any incidents that are happening across the nation. Even in Kerala, people say Kerala is a secure, safe place for the minorities. It's precisely because the left is here. So the presence of the left is very much important, or is a prerequisite as a governing party to ensure safety for the minorities in Kerala, which they will understand.
Feel like that?
Yeah, I feel that. You leave the reign of the states to Congress. Average member of the minority community will understand that. They will cave into the RSS propaganda. They will certainly cave into the RSS propaganda. Just look at the neighborhood, Karnataka. There was an anti-conversion law which has come into effect. The Congress promised that they will withdraw it. They will never withdraw it. The same law which was passed by the BJP continues there. See, the attacks that are happening against the minorities across the boundary. Everybody knows that. So the macro layer of narrative that is being spread across Kerala, I don't think that is the reality of Kerala politics. And when it comes to, casting their vote, anybody, anywhere will realize that left is a guarantee for their future. Not only future in terms of their safety, but also for their progress.
But what about the so-called Hindu appeasement by the left?
Like what? See, there was a debate. EMS Nambudiri He's from the Nambudiri community. He has got a Nambudiri tag. He's pro-Hindu. Let us look at the performance for this government. Can you single out one incident where you can attribute the left is a soft Hindutva? Now you talked in terms of Ayyappa Sangam. Let me just tell you what. See, the pilgrimage tourism is one of the very important verticals of Kerala's development. I do feel that. See, look at other pilgrim centers across the nation. So, if at all there is a convergence of minds to see that what could be done for promotion of such pilgrims or other pilgrimage tourism, there is no harm in that. Look at the policy of the left government. There is any fudging on any of the policy front there? Absolutely no. Is there any...
The key point is Vellapalli narration.
See, whether you like it or not, he is the leader, president of the SND. SNDP, it's an organization which is rooted in the history or the reformist movement of... You may like or dislike it. I also may not agree with him completely. I have my sets of disagreements with him. Many of them. But see, whether you like it or not, he is the president of SNDP. So, associating certain social organization, and our chief minister has been always interacting with all the minority leaders also. Haven't you seen chief minister interacting and taking inputs from bishops, from Samastha, from AP? He has been attending programs of EK group, EK Sunni and AP Sunni. I myself have gone and spoken in many of their conclaves. So where is the so-called, soft Hindutva or patronage of a certain section? Absolutely no. There is a balance that is there, and you should look at the policy and program of the government. And if we can point out one single incident where we have discriminated one community against another, I will, of course, honor this play.
So let's talk about another issue. One of the most important challenges that the Kerala government has faced is the economic situation, because finances have been pretty difficult in the last few years. This is despite those serious, the problems that Kerala faced. And Kerala has managed pretty well. But at the same time, Kerala is going through a major financial crisis in various, in various sectors, at least in society. And one of the reasons for this has been the center's policies towards the left government, which has been seen as a pretty hostile towards the state in terms of, Kerala is seen as a political adversary. And even Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, has come to Kerala and actually advocated for a double engine government as the answer of Kerala's economic ills. And you have been a passionate advocate for Kerala's cause in the parliament. You have been sort of, taking the central government to task on the attitude of the government towards towards the state and all. So what do you think is a solution that, if the central government is led by, even before Kerala has been seen as a neglected state even during the Congress rule in Delhi for a long time. So what has changed now is another question. Maybe that neglect has got intensified right now. But in this particular situation, if the center is going to be led by BJP or some other party, and the state is being led by the left, will this problem remain forever? That Kerala is going to be a basket case in terms of economic advancement?
There is a proverb which says the last straw on camel's back. I feel that this situation cannot continue any further. It's not only because of Kerala's issues. Most of the states, or rather all the states ruled by the opposition parties, are starving because of the funds not being released, or rather, even a semblance of justice is not done to the opposition ruled states. Having said that, even if you have a double engine government, I feel that the so-called double engine governments or the states will have to wait at least 5 decades to reach the level of Kerala or Tamil Nadu. I have been always telling the BJP leaders, your Bihar or Uttar Pradesh will have to remain like this at least 4 decades to reach our level. So we know what is actually beneath this so-called velvet layer of double edge. But can I tell you something? There is a speech which was done by none other than Anna in Rajya Sabha, I think 62 or 63. He talked in terms of discrimination from the central government. He even underscored, please don't make me an anti-national, but I'm just referring to Anna. He spoke about the right of self-determination. I think after that he had withdrawn that. But see, this unity of this country can remain intact only by protecting or having meaningful federalism. Now, the delimitation also is hanging as a Damocles sword. But these two issues of fiscal injustice that is meted out to the states and also the political injustice that is in the offing in the form of delimitation, it will be an epistemological break in the center-state relations. And having said that, I will also like to bring certain statistics. See, look at the central government. They always give sermons to the states like Kerala. The recent budget, I was telling the finance minister on her face, you always blame states like Kerala for having debt. What is the debt GDP ratio of the union government? It's something like 56%.
Yeah.
Just look at the debt GSDP ratio of Kerala. It's hardly 34%.
Right.
In absolute terms, what is the debt of central government? It is 200 lakh crore. What is the debt of Kerala? It should be 4.8 lakh. And this 200 lakh crore of debt of central government also is not actually truth. It's not a truth. You know why? They have not taken into account the debt of institutions, organizations like NHA. NHA, that would be 3.5 lakh. There are other organizations also like that. So the fiscal situation at the center is much more worse than many of the states. But nevertheless, I do feel that we need to get justice. And this current so-called proposition of we being relegated when finance are being dispersed, this cannot continue. So these elections are going to be crucial. And all said and done, Radhakrishnan, this BJP has only 240 seats in Lok Sabha. They are short of a majority. See, in politics, there is, I think Lenin's words is that many decades nothing will happen, but there could be weeks where decades happen. Right? So I have seen national politics from 1980s onwards. The so-called comfortable proposition that Narendra Modi is supposed to enjoy will not last long. Right. These states will have to fight. The people will realize that this sort of nonsense cannot continue. See, the university which we built on our sweat and blood, you cannot even appoint a professor there. Even the VC, you cannot appoint. You cannot have any decision with regard to university. The guy who presided over our universities here, who talked in terms of the inferior quality of our university, is presiding over the Patna University, which doesn't even have A or B. It's a C. So, this sort of nonsense in this political, I would say, political cacophony that is being made out will not last long. And there would be certain stage when we need to unite together to fight against these tendencies.
Brittas, very interestingly, a new development has taken place in Kerala. Some of the most prominent pro-left intellectuals have actually distanced from the left in one way, and certain other intellectuals have actually asked for the LDF to lose out in the next election so that the LDF and the left, the communist parties, will remain strong. That is, what they mean to say is that the last 10 years have seen that the left sort of hollowing out in its ideals, in kind of a degeneration has taken place, being in power for so long. So, Mr. Sachidanandan, we all respect him as one of the greatest poets that Malayalam has produced. has actually, who is your president of the State Sahitya Academy, he has actually openly said that the left should not win the next election for the sake of the left. How do you see this?
I'm very glad that you asked this question, and also you emphasized on that he is the president of your Sahitya Academy. So Radhakrishnan, think about the fact somebody is so critical of this government can continue as the president of the Sahitya Academy.
His term has been extended after that.
No. That's what I'm saying. Can you see that anywhere in the world? Let us not forget about, let us forget about India. Anywhere in the world, somebody who is so critical of the government continues to hold that post. So
and that is government at that.
Yeah. And leaving there, I have huge admiration for Sachidanandan. See, our political imagination have been ignited by people like Sachidanandan. I can tell you that. Even the perspective which we could, draw.
Our generation has been, looking up to him as a great guru.
Yeah. And even that has been woven around, people like Sachi's contribution. Having said that, when Sachidanandan Maharsh shifted from Delhi, he said he cannot cope up with the climate of intolerance. I think he shifted from Delhi when either Congress was the principal party or the second important party.
And he was the secretary of the Central Sahitya.
Secretary. Right. So he couldn't cope up with the intolerance that was there in Delhi, despite the fact that Congress was there having a mainstay in Delhi politics. So does he anticipate having a level of tolerance with Congress at the helm of affairs in Kerala? If you look at any state where there are BJP and Congress either as the ruling party or the principal opposition party, the level of tolerance have plummeted. You look at Rajasthan, see the anti-conversion law was passed to muzzle the minorities, with Congress being mum on that. Not even a single word was spelled out. I went to Chhattisgarh when the nuns were arrested. Radhakrishnan would be surprised. The former Chief Minister Begel was indirectly supporting the arrest of these nuns. The Malayalam press tried very hard to get a comment from Begel. He didn't win a report. So is this intolerance which he couldn't stand? He wants to be in Kerala. See, what does he say? That left will become arrogance. See, let us not write poems when you make political analysis. See, in political analysis, the tangible facts and indicators should come and play. Now, if you look at the newspapers, maybe a couple of years back, 2 years back, what were the headlines in many of these newspapers? Pinarayi Vijayan has been virtually fried, roasted by the party conferences. Every party conference, starting from branch committee to the district committee, the state committee, the chief minister has been roasted by the party conference. All of a sudden now you say that there is no dissent, there is no discourse.
Freedom in the organization.
So let us be very clear about what are they talking about. Think about the larger picture. We shouldn't be unduly influenced by our so-called creative, fertile mind. They should look at other places where left is not a substantive force. If left is a substantive force, of course, they can continue to be the president of the Sahitya Academy. They can have their expressions. They can have all their creativity, which could be taken to a different level.
Now, the media also, I think, since we both belong to that world, do you see a intensified sort of anti-CPM, trend growing within the media, across the media, not just one or two, but, right from the right-wing media to the ultra-left media to the, entire media seems to be completely working against or moving against the left.
Yeah, there is when I talked in terms of 4 M's, which are having pivotal roles in elections, one vertical was this media. The media power, at least the mainstream media power, is being used by UDF or BJP. against the left. And one narrative that is being built up is that they cannot pick up anything with regard to the administrative flaws or something which has happened or something which is not happening. The only narrative is that Pinarayi Vijayan can turn to be arrogant. There is no criticism.
Pinarayi Vijayan is seen as extremely hostile towards the media all through.
Yeah, he has been steadfast in his mannerism. You know that. He has been steadfast in his mannerism. He doesn't market or choreograph himself. I have worked with him for decades. See, just for making sure that there is a headline or a box item. He doesn't, choreograph his mannerism or gestures or postures. Now, that's why precisely why I said, what were the reportage of mainstream media when the CPM party meetings or the party conference were having there? It was precisely the opposite version. See, so at least this mainstream media shouldn't have the amnesia what they reported when we had our party conferences.
Right.
So instead of dwelling on tangible facts and figures, such narrative without having any substantive ground shouldn't be brought in by sensible people, people whom we adore, like Sachidanandan. That is only my humble request.
Yeah. Before I conclude, one more particular point on which you have been quite passionately campaigning is the PM cares thing, and which is actually quite quite stupefying, the kind of arguments that have been put forward in the parliament by the ruling benches, that this is something which which cannot be explained at all before the public of India, seems to be quite strange. What is this PM cares scheme that you are so agitated against?
Radhakrishnan, it's good that you asked me, because this is one issue which I took it up there. I have been asking questions on PM cares, but the typical response from the Rajya Sabha secretary has been that it's a private fund. So, fed up with the questions, only of questions, the PMO wrote to the speaker, and I think Rajya Sabha chairman also said that, please don't entertain questions regarding PM care. After that, I dug out a document. It's good that you asked me, because I have that document in front of me. I didn't know that you were going to ask it, because it's in my WhatsApp. I sent to one of the journalists. See, there is a office memorandum dated 28/3/2020. That is 6 years back. The office memorandum is by the Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You know what is the first sentence? The government of India has set up the Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief Emergency Situations Fund. The short form is
CPIM, full form, isn't it?
Yeah. The government of India has set up.
Right.
The office memorandum dated 28th March 2020
and all the trustees are ministers.
Yeah. See, so when the government itself declares that we are setting up a fund, and it's a government fund,
and about 10,000 lakh crore, whatever the huge size of the money.
A huge money, nobody knows. There is no accountability. See, if every other day Kerala government releases the data on CM Relief Fund, CM DRF, how much money has come to the CM DRF, who all have contributed. I have contributed to CM DRF. Where all it has gone, who all got it as an assistance for health, for housing, for something else. How is it that? See, having said that, I can tell you one more thing. See, this government has been always trying to make sure that there is a veil of secrecy on everything. Nowadays, even those mundane questions are being disallowed on one pretext or other pretext. I can cite you a very interesting episode which has happened to me. See, when this new parliament building was conceived, the Union Cabinet passed the budget for that. So I asked, what is the estimate for the new parliament building? This new parliament building, it's like a mall. It could be a Lulu mall. Okay, anyway, let us not talk about that. I don't feel it's a parliament at all. Okay. So I asked, what is estimate? So they came out with an estimate. They answered to my question saying that this is the amount, some thousand, something like that. After the completion of the parliament building, I asked the same question. What is the actual expenditure incurred in the construction of the new parliament? You know what was the response? We cannot give this. It's secret. This is the type of responses we get. That's why I always say that the quality of the parliamentary discourse have plummeted. See, there is no transparency. Without transparency, democracy will never be meaningful.
Now let's conclude with the last question. How many seats do you think that LDF is likely to win in the coming election? What about this? Is a typical journalist question that we both of us ask.
The other question, I'll tell you one thing. Being a politician, I would have said that we will retain 99 and 100 because Chief Minister has said
110 seats.
No, Chief Minister has said 110 seats. So now, if you ask me how many seats, and if you say one seat lesser, you will say there is a contradiction between Brittas and the Chief Minister. So don't put me to that predicament. But back of my mind, I always think that, you see, all this will come back to me after the declaration of the result. But I can tell you one thing. We will have comfortable majority to have our next innings. And I can tell you one more thing. The next 5 would be the best 5.
Okay. So will Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan be leading Kerala as a chief minister for the next after the next election also?
I do feel so. I don't know whether I am authorized or entitled to make such a pronouncement.
You can just express your.
But I feel that Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan will lead the campaign and he would be the chief minister.
Great. Thank you, John Brittas, for a wonderful
conversation.
Thank you very much, Rajya.
Thank you very much.